And now, Knock 2 Studios presents Common Censored.
What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Common Censored. It's Monday, episode 113. We're going to talk about the Bloodbath hoax. We've got Elon warning that we'll either get that red wave, that bloodbath, coincidentally, or the U.S. is doomed. It'll be an electoral bloodbath. To clarify, FBI's asshole. Recently re-elected Putin warns that the U.S. is not a democracy. We've got all kinds of crazy stuff going on as usual. Bruce Jenner. Sorry, did I dead name him? Exposing the tranny BS. So he may be confused, but he's not completely delusional. So that's good. We've got Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson defending the government violating the First Amendment during arguments in the Missouri v. Biden case. We've got a good take on McAfee's actions in Georgia, splitting the baby of justice. Man, that would have been a better thumbnail than what I did, which I already thought was pretty cool. We've got some cool bear stuff. Alex Terrible riding a bear. We've got another dude playing with a bear. The bear's flopping all around. It's pretty cool. All kinds of crazy stuff as usual. A massive brawl involving hundreds of teenagers erupting at a Southern California mall. Only 2 people arrested. Trump's having problems securing his $500 million judgment in the New York City fraud case, as Letitia James threatens to steal his assets, to seize his assets. We've got an interesting story about a rock found near Roswell, where the 1947 UFO incident took place. Gator sent us a story about West Point ditching, quote, duty. Sorry. Duder. El Duderino, Duder. Wrong thing to say. West Point ditching duty, honor, and country from their mission statement. Haiti hell. Police strikes at gang rebels after leader barbecue calls for revolution against the political elites in Haiti. And they're going to be coming over on boats to Florida, apparently. Biden may be telling the Border Patrol to stand down over there. We've got an interesting story coming out of Egypt as the ancient pharaohs have been relocated from the Cairo Museum to the new epic museum that they've built over there. We've got a good take on the TikTok ban being a Trojan horse for the mass government censorship. An Indian YouTuber arrested for supplying snake venom to be used as a drug in rave parties. I wonder if you injected, did it bring a tooth, also a snake fang to inject you with it and get all bugged out when you're raving? We've got Death Metal Story Hour. You thought, they want tranny drag queen story hour. We fight back with Death Metal Story Hour. Yeah. We've got a story about Dr. Dre suffering 3 strokes after being hospitalized in 2021 for a brain aneurysm. The German chancellor tells EU leaders that World War III is off the table, bringing the doomsday clock back a little bit further away from midnight. So that's good news. We have an interesting story about Prince Charles being interviewed about the Princess Diana murder conspiracy, and all while Princess Middleton is missing. effectively. I don't know if there's any updates on that. Today, I haven't heard anything, but everybody's been talking about how she's missing. They're releasing all these weird photoshopped pictures of her not providing proof of life. Has it happened again? Is this Diana 2.0? Did they take her out? What's going on? Where's Marvin Gaye when you need him? We've got the cicada apocalypse, as I've dubbed it. There's supposed to be a big Striker, exactly. Nathan Explosion. That's what I was going for. Hilarious. There's a confluence of multiple clutches of cicadas that are going to be hatching simultaneously, unleashing trillions of cicadas across the globe, while the big eclipse is set to cross over the U.S. Some type of end times symbolism with plagues and all kinds of crazy stuff. I don't know. I didn't hear about anything about Prince Charles yesterday, Striker. What's up to everybody in the chat? 26 people on Rumble. Mama, Mac, Mandy, Jay, Lawson, Striker, that old sheepdog, Mucky Duck, Sam Duty. What's up, everybody? Crazy Bee, Unique Prepping, Ed Hoskins. What's up, everybody? Thanks for joining us today. We've got Smurfgate, an interview with a 16-year-old German girl reported by a principal, yanked from class and arrested by police that came into her classroom for posting a conservative meme involving Smurfs. All kinds of crazy stuff going on today. Let's see. Let's jump into it. And there's more. That's only part of the list. The list is never ending, as you guys know. Ooh, send them. Send those SNL up stories if you want to the chat. All right, let's start off with Threeper's quote of the day. Let's see what happened to it. I had it here just a second ago. All right, boom, got it. Got to share the screen. And here we go. Consider the Marxist idea of from each according to his ability, to each according to his needs. What an incentive for people to minimize their abilities and maximize their needs. Can you imagine a better formula for destroying society? From the legal scholar Henry G. Manne, Manne. Good one. And yeah, exactly, the Reaper. It's basically encouraging people to minimize their to their ability to participate and maximize how much they want to get. So yeah, really very astute observation. This is the type of stuff we need to avoid. Let's talk about Elon Musk, who has warned over the weekend that either we're going to get a red wave in November or America is doomed, which is exactly what I've been saying forever at this point. Actually, before we get too deep into this, let's not forget what we're doing here. Let's finish off the introduction. Welcome, all you censored commoners. Thank you for joining us. This is Common Censored. I'm Lord Sterling, and we broadcast live Monday through Friday at 6:30 Eastern Time p.m. You can find us on X. Make sure to share with hashtag Common Censored and subscribe or follow us at _Common Censored. You can find Truckfit Dre over there at Truckfit LLC. That's TRUKFYT LLC. Shout out to Dre. And you can find me at Mortis_Noctu. Disclaimer. Views expressed on Common Censored are only opinions. Assume everything we say is false and research for yourself. We're not giving medical, legal, or financial advice. The only advice we are giving is think for yourself. Question authority. Think for yourself. question authority. Boom! And if you're new here, links to all of these stories and videos and everything that we cover will be down in the description after the show is over. So if you're watching this later on and you don't want to sit through 3 hours of random stories, if you have limited time and want to target your attention, you can pop down into the description and pick out what stories are interesting to you. Jump right to the timestamps we have listed down there. Click them, go to the original stories if you want. If there's videos, I include the timestamps within those videos of the areas that we're covering on the show. So that's there for your convenience to maximize the effectiveness of your own time and schedule. Thanks again for joining us. Let's get into the story. This is Ben Q writing over here. Not a Q, but a K-E-W, Q. Elon Musk has warned that there must be a blowout Republican victory in November, or America is irreparably doomed. Their goal is to literally destroy the country, and they are working to lock the door and slam the door shut to finalize their operation. And it's like we're barely got our foot in the door right now, keeping it alive. We need Trump back in office to intercede and prevent this from happening. Otherwise, they're literally going to destroy the country, and America is doomed. The billionaire business mogul made the comments on the X platform in response to a video where a New York resident described the appalling impact of illegal immigration in her community.
They're not legal. If they were legal, they need to pay taxes.
What do you think is going to happen with the migrant crisis here in New York City?
It's getting bad because they're also next to my house and they piss on my door. I could tell that they're gang wars. I mean, they're tattooed up to head to toe. The people pissing on my door, they're tattooed up head to toe. And there's no law against illegal migrants committing crimes. So again, it's lawlessness, non-payment of taxes, siphoning all our money to their native countries, and it's just killing our economy. Eric Adams just said he's going to give 4,000 migrants jobs. That means 4,000 civilians have less jobs. It's just not fair to Americans. It's getting scary. Right now, people in the Bronx are getting attacked. People Upper East Side, 2 of them just got attacked. And it's illegal to buy mace. It's illegal to protect yourself. I've lived here 50 years. And this is not fair that we feel unsafe in our homeland. And our own country is not defending us. And there's nobody to protect us. The police can do nothing. They told us they can do nothing because there's no law against them.
Yeah, fuck Tyson Foods. Not Mike Tyson, though. He's gonna whip Jake Paul's ass. We'll get into that in a little bit. Mama Mac saying she's boycotting Tyson. Yeah, Tyson has basically said, we're not going to hire Americans. We're just going to hire illegals now. So bring them all in. We'll undercut the American jobs and let you fucking illegal criminals work and take advantage of us. So yeah, screw Mike Tyson. It's not a coincidence that Robert Barnes has been going hard after Tyson, filing lawsuit after lawsuit. He said the other day on the show that his Tyson lawsuits will be perpetual. He's just going to continue suing Tyson forever. Sandlot style. So yeah, Tyson's the worst. Definitely, Mama Mac. So yeah, Elon sees this. They're cloud and pivoting us, bringing in so many people that it'll stress and shut down the system, increasing demand while not increasing supply, which will result in price increases and scarcity. Just the natural laws of economics and physics, really. Economics are just a form of physics when you think about it. But it's plain to see for everybody. They're destroying the country. So Elon responds saying there is either a red wave this November or America is doomed. Imagine 4 years of this getting worse. So yeah, it's good that he's speaking out about this nonsense. More people, the better. For some of us who've been screaming for years about this for with no response to the sleeping masses. Finally, the masses are starting to wake up. So that is good. Look at this crazy. This meme, people accused of trespassing into the Capitol are arrested. But those trespassing into the country are giving $10,000 in free housing. If not stopped, Elon replies, the U.S. is as a coherent country will cease to exist, and it will simply blend with the rest of the world, thus, ironically, defeating the purpose of immigrating here in the first place. It's the same thing. They shout, colonizers, colonizers. Well, they colonize us. Screaming, about what exactly they are doing themselves. Ridiculous nonsense. These people are, as you know.
It's pure evil!
Pure, unadulterated evil. Such comments are an indication that Musk has come around to the view that only by electing Republicans can America's decline into socialism be reversed. There was also a clip of him a couple days ago saying he's leaning away from Biden, which is good, as he posted on X a clip of Joe Rogan talking about how just horrible Biden is. So he's going to be voting Trump, and hopefully he will actually get control of the morons that are running the recently renamed Trust and Safety section of X, and because they're still shadow banning people, they're still screwing with stuff. Freedom of speech, but not of reach. No, you got to stop that bullshit. Fire Linda Yaccarino. Replace her with, I don't know, somebody who can be trusted. Who can we trust to stand on principles of free speech? Ron Paul, or something. Put Ron Paul in there. He can handle it. Ron Paul for X Trust Committee. Crazy. And last week it was reported that Musk met with Trump, not only at Mar-a-Lago, but at a different place, just coincidentally. Elon declined to give specifics about that meeting when being questioned by Don Lemon, who reportedly asked for just the insane, the most insane list of stuff you could possibly imagine to go work at, to have a contract with, and Ed Hoskins still banned on X. Yeah, exactly, bro. There was supposed to be blanket amnesty. Whatever happened to that? Some bullshit. That's right, cowgirl. Grow some balls, Elon. Grow some balls. Hilarious. Oh yeah, so Don Lemon asked for the craziest rider, the greatest rock star of all time would do, going to a concert, where they asked for the most ridiculous stuff. I want M&Ms, but only blue M&Ms, etc. He wanted a Cybertruck, millions of dollars, equity in X, all kinds of insane nonsense. Sheepdog, yeah. The 10-inch Trump knife, the biggest, most tremendous knife you will ever see. Oh man, you want me to open the knife link? Fuck it, we'll open the knife link. Big Trump knife. That's their branding. It reminds me of Idiocracy, where he walks up to the kiosk, the automated robotic kiosk, after the lady's payment is declined, and it sprays her and says, "You are an unfit mother. Your children will be taken into the custody of Carl's Jr." And he goes up and tries to order, and it's welcome to Carl's Jr. Would you like to try our extra big-ass taco? The big-ass Trump knife. It's right out of Idiocracy. Hilarious. So, yeah, imagine getting fired from CNN, right? Or demoted from the main show at night to a morning show, and then getting fired from that. And then going to X and demanding a Cybertruck and millions of dollars and equity in X. After trashing X on your show on CNN under Trump, Elon Musk's leadership, trashing Musk, and then on top of asking for all of that stuff, going to meet with Elon, interviewing him and interrogating him. Elon's Don, the only reason I'm doing this interview is because you're on X and you asked me to. He's like, I don't have to be answering questions from anybody. And before he even signed the deal, Don Lemon's over there pressing Elon and disrespecting him to his face and asking knowingly stupid questions, even before Elon signed the deal for all the goodies that he wanted, because he's such a famous rock star who got fired from CNN and who can't be trusted. Unbelievable. So hilarious. Yeah, Musk is meeting with Trump in secret, doing all this stuff. Just to be super clear, he says he's not donating money to either candidate, maintaining probably some semblance of nonpartisanship for X, probably for political purposes in terms of X, making it seem like he's not running election interference for any candidate on X. That's probably what's going on there. But you guys get the gist. Let's move on to the next story. I guess I probably should have gone into the bloodbath, since Elon wants a red wave. Speaking of red wave, we've got a bloodbath hoax. But instead, we'll jump over to Caitlyn Jenner. People ask me why I'm speaking out so often on this topic. It's simple. It's biology. It is not about exclusion or being tolerant or accepting. Someone trans has to do it. Men don't belong in women's sports. Period. There's your red wave for this story. But yeah, obviously, Bruce Jenner was an Olympic athlete. He knows a little something about sports. Maritime 1995. What's up, Mark? Good to see you, brother. Thanks for joining us. You made a Rumble account. Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. Oh, we got Alpha Boss over there too. Oh, Mega Directive. What's up? Welcome, everybody. Thank you guys for being here. So yeah, we've got a trans person, even though that's not really a thing. We've got a confused person over here who's confused but not delusional. He may think he's a she, but he knows that he's not really a woman. And he's basically saying that that men can't be women. Caitlyn Jenner over here. Trans women are not women. Maybe confused, but he's not delusional. He's like, I may feel like a woman, but I know I'm not a woman. Oh, man. So, yeah, we got to keep men out of women's sports. There was just a story the other day. I heard somebody talking about it. I can't remember which one it was, but, it was Barnes talking about it last night, how these guys are winning court cases to be in women's locker rooms and stuff, and subjecting women to humiliation and being observed by men and being uncomfortable. And they think that their own insecurity overrides all of the concerns and the mental, and potential physical ramifications of their own presence. These people are evil, man. They don't give a shit about women, reversing decades of women's rights progress, getting protected women's spaces, locker rooms, bathrooms, sports. It would suck for women if men were just allowed to play sports. I played, varsity lacrosse freshman year in high school, was on a AAA hockey team. People like me, you don't want to play against us. It will not be fun. So we want them to have fun. We want them to be safe. We will hurt you and we will ruin your time if we're playing with you in sports. And it's just insane. So at least we've got one transgender individual who's not completely delusional. This is the old school transgender people before the modern brainwashed type of transgender where these, they've always existed. But it's the modern ones that are like super, super insane and disconnected from reality. All right, now we'll jump into some bloodbath stuff. And we're not going to get too into it because everybody's already talked about it forever. But we'll just play the full clip and talk about just briefly how they took it out of context.
Mexico has taken, over a period of 30 years, 34% of the automobile manufacturing business in our country. Think of it, went to Mexico. China now is building a couple of massive plants where they're going to build the cars in Mexico and they think that they're going to sell those cars into the United States with no tax at the border. Let me tell you something to China. If you're listening, President Xi, and you and I are friends, but he understands the way I deal, those big monster car manufacturing plants that you're building in Mexico right now, and you think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car that comes across the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories.
Right back into the cars.
Because
all it was about cars. He almost finished the sentence and said it's going to be a bloodbath for the auto industry, but then he continued because it was obvious and he didn't even need to say it. So they're just taking him out of context as usual. And I saw people posting the other day. Somebody did it. Just a huge train of bloodbath. bloodbath. So I did it too. Just mocking them for just parroting the word like nothing. So I just rub it in their face. Look at how many times I wrote bloodbath over here. I just sat there for 20 minutes typing bloodbath. No, I'm just kidding. Copy and paste, obviously, but just such a ridiculous story. Speaking of the bloodbath, what do you guys think of today's thumbnail? I took the the background of The Shining, you know, where the hotel doors open and all the blood comes pouring out. Put Trump in front of it. I should have took two Trumps and put them like the twin girls from the Shining who caused the bloodbath. These people are fucking clowns, man. What a joke. Look at Jake Paul over here with his Mike Tyson tattoo. This guy is playing with fire. Is this even real? Or is it like a henna? I don't even know. We'll have to look into that. Oh, look at this. Blood splatter behind bloodbath. Yeah. So that was a kind of a fun one. I like the Shining thing. Let's see. So yeah, Trump obviously was not talking about a physical, literal bloodbath. And hopefully, you know, it's just insane how they take colloquialisms. Bloodbath, one of the definitions on, you know, like in dictionaries for bloodbath is an economic downturn, an economic, you know, collapse type scenario. And so he's literally talking about a bloodbath for the auto industry. And these people, disingenuous as ever, clip 17 seconds right between where he mentions the auto industry and then comes back to the auto industry because he's talking about the auto industry, and then just play him saying, "Oh, if it's you know, if I don't win, it's going to be a bloodbath." These people are straight up liars. It's disgusting. Completely disgusting. It's insane. And they just count on nobody
right now,
looking up the actual
and you
clips.
think you're going to get that, you're going to not hire Americans, and you're going to sell the cars to us. Now, we're going to put a 100% tariff on every single car
Cowgirl,
that
have fun
comes
with
across
that.
the line, and you're not going to be able to sell those cars. If I get elected, now, if I don't get elected, it's going to be a bloodbath for the whole. That's going to be the least of it. It's going to be a bloodbath for the country. That'll be the least of it. But they're not going to sell those cars. They're building massive factories.
They cut off all the stuff about the auto industry and twist and spin, kind of like how whenever he talks about illegal immigrants, you know, on the campaign trail in 2016 or throughout his presidency, they take off the illegal part and just say he's talking shit about immigrants. They do the same thing all the time. They take things out of context and spin them. Remember, he said, "The fake news media is the enemy of the people." And he says the news media is the enemy of the people. No, he said the fake news media is the enemy of the people. And they are. And they just spin it to say, oh, he's attacking the media. No, he's not. He's attacking the propaganda. And you guys are just doubling down on the propaganda in response, proving his point. So you're a bunch of fucking idiots in the media. And thanks for making it completely obvious. So everybody pushing the whole bloodbath narrative was obliterated over the weekend with downvoted or ratioed on X hilariously. And they're still doubling down on it. Like Morning Joe today maybe even was doubling down on the whole bloodbath narrative. These people are sick. They were sick in the head. All right, let's move on to our next story. We're going to talk about Ketanji Brown Jackson. Totally not a diversity hire. Just in, U.S. Supreme Court Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson just defended the U.S. government violating the First Amendment. During arguments in the case Senator Rand Paul calls, quote, the most consequential free speech case in U.S. history. Patty McMurray writing over here at the Gateway Pundit. This afternoon, Senator Rand Paul, Republican from Kentucky, tweeted about today's U.S. Supreme Court case, Murphy versus Missouri, that involves several plaintiffs, including the Gateway Pundit, who have been harmed by censorship by the government and big tech. Here's a picture of some of the people involved with it outside of the SCOTUS just earlier today. In his tweet, is it still called a tweet? I don't think it's technically still called a tweet on X, but we'll roll with it. Senator Rand Paul wrote, today, SCOTUS heard Murphy versus Missouri. My bad, I said Biden versus Missouri. It's Murphy versus Missouri, the most consequential free speech case in U.S. history. This isn't just about social media companies. It's a critical examination of government overreach, the Biden administration and FBI's efforts to influence big tech into silencing dissident tramples on the First Amendment. Our focus must be on preventing government censorship, not compelling private entities to act as censors. This case could redefine our free speech. Joe Biden's latest addition to the U.S. Supreme Court, Ketanji Brown Jackson, however, had a different take on the significance of the free speech case. Some might say that Ketanji Brown Jackson, during oral arguments, dismissed the First Amendment as a roadblock for the government and big tech in their efforts to collude against Americans to censor their free speech. In stark contrast, U.S. Judge Alito argued that the U.S. government and big tech should not be colluding to censor the speech simply because they don't agree with it. Alito to the defense lawyer, quote, when I see the White House and federal officials repeatedly saying that Facebook and the federal government should be partners, regular meetings, constant pestering, wow, I cannot imagine federal officials taking that approach to print media. Super insane. Let's check out this clip over here from @systemupdate_. Happening now. Murphy versus Missouri. SCOTUS hears arguments on the U.S. government collusion with social media platforms to censor online speech. A U.S. judge has called this case, quote, the most massive attack against free speech in YouTube history. Isn't there a band called Massive Attack?
Exchange between the White House and other federal officials and Facebook in particular, but also some of the other platforms. And I see that the White House and federal officials are repeatedly saying that Facebook and the federal government should be partners.
Sorry for the volume, guys. I wish I could raise it for you.
Officials are demanding answers. I want an answer. I want it right away. When they're unhappy, they curse them out. There are regular meetings. There is constant pestering of Facebook and some of the other platforms, and they want to have regular meetings. And they suggest, they suggest rules that should be applied, and why don't you tell us everything that you're going to do?
Striker, the diabetic feet on Gateway Pundit. The chat calls them foobs, foot boobs. Just so you know, those are the foobs that we always get on Gateway Pundit. Sorry, I'll rewind a second.
It should be applied, and why don't you tell us everything that you're going to do so we can help you and we can look it over? And I thought, wow, I cannot imagine
Good stuff,
federal
cowgirl.
officials taking that approach to the print media, our representatives over there. If you did that to them, what do you think the reaction would be? And so I thought, the only reason why this is taking place
Imagine
is
if Trump was
because
doing
the
this.
federal government has got Section 230 and antitrust in its pocket, and it's to mix my metaphors, and it's got these big clubs available to it, and so it's treating Facebook and these other platforms like they're subordinates. Would you do that to the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal or the Associated Press?
Hint,
or
yeah,
any
they
other
do it. It's called
newspaper
Project
wire service?
Mockingbird.
So there's a lot packed in there. I want to give you one very specific answer first, and then step back out to the broader context. So specifically, you mentioned demanding an answer right away and cursing them out. The only time that happens is in an email that's about the president's own Instagram account. It's not about moderating other people's
Okay,
content.
well, put that aside. There's all the rest.
So-
Constant meetings.
So it happened,
constant
you're saying.
emails.
Yeah.
We want answers.
Gotcha.
We're partners. We're on the
Blue
same team. You
Rose
think that
220
the
or
print
22. What's
media,
up? Thanks for joining
regards
us.
themselves as being on the same team as the federal government, partners with the federal government?
So potentially in the
Good
context
to
of
see
an
ya.
effort to get Americans vaccinated during a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. And I really think that piece of context, it doesn't change the first.
Oh, once in a lifetime. So you're saying it happened again. So you're saying it happened. It's just a one-off type thing. No, it doesn't matter. It's a matter of principle. Just because it's a once in a lifetime pandemic doesn't mean you can override everybody's rights. That's the purpose of the amendments, is that there are no exceptions. There are no emergency powers that the government can take in an emergency, because they'll just choose to define emergency however they want. Like they've redefined inflation, like they've redefined vaccine, like how they've redefined everything.
Amendment principles, but it's relevant to how they apply here. And I think it's important to understand that at this time, this was a time when thousands of Americans were still dying every week, and there was a hope.
Yeah, and maybe if people could speak freely, I can't even say what I want to say here on YouTube, unfortunately. But let me just say that a lot of lives may have been saved if people were allowed to speak freely. This guy's saying, oh, there was a hope we could get everybody vaccinated, and there's a hope we could infringe on disinformation, on free speech, that alleged disinformation that's going to prevent people from saving themselves. No, let the free market do its thing. Let people make their own decisions. Don't stifle half the story. And so he's justifying their infractions against free speech here by pointing out something that's blatantly false and that didn't help people. This thing over here, schmick-sheen, right? Oh, well, we needed to stop vaccine hesitancy because it's so important. Is it really? I mean, what did Dennis Rancourt say? 17 million people perished as a result, starting in 2021 and not in 2020. I can say that without exactly saying what I'm thinking and still get the message across. We know what happened in 2020 versus what happened in 2021. And 17 million excess deaths since 2021. This guy's trying to say, oh, we took over to social media so that we could make sure that that's the outcome. There could be way fewer of those excess deaths if social media hadn't been controlled and free speech been infringed upon.
That getting everyone vaccinated could stop the pandemic. And there was a concern that Americans were getting their news about the vaccine from these platforms.
The platforms that were accurate, you mean? There was a concern that people might get accurate information. It doesn't matter what you think. It's up for the people to decide, and that's the point of free speech. People are clowns.
Platforms were promoting, not just posting, but promoting bad information.
I understand all that, and I know the objectives were good. But once again, they were also getting their news from the print media and the broadcast media and cable media, and I just can't imagine.
Yeah, Ed, we'll bounce off YouTube in a sec.
But maybe I'm naive. Maybe that goes on behind the scenes. I don't know, but it struck me as, wow, this is not what I understand the relationship to be. That's all.
But I do. I think this is important because I have the same reaction that you do, that these emails look
Thanks,
unusual. I think the idea that there'd be back and forth between the government and the media isn't unusual at all. When the White House press secretary on July 16th is asked about this by the press at the time, what she says is, of course we talk to the platforms just the way we talk to all of you when we have concerns about what you're doing, when we have information that you might find helpful. Now, there's an intensity of the back and forth here, and there's an anger that I think is unusual, but the context for that, I think, is that these platforms were saying publicly, we want to help. We think we have a responsibility to.
You mean like the aliens and Mars attacks? That came down and said, we come in peace, bing, 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 and start blasting. Doesn't matter what you're saying. It doesn't matter your justification. People have the right to spread information that they deem to be accurate. It doesn't matter what the establishment narrative is. You're a fucking control freak scumbag. And probably a lot of people are dead as a result of this intervention. Let's jump from YouTube and go over to Rumble and X. We're going to ditch YouTube and Facebook. Boom. Link is in the YouTube chat and the Facebook chat. Make sure to come over and join us on Rumble and X. If you can't make the jump, sorry to have to ditch you, but we will catch you on the other side tomorrow. Until then, let's